Hello guys, Zepherus here, and today I'll be telling you, in one take, all about the great zombie outbreak of 1495, and what, how, and why it happened. Oh, and before you get confused, this was real. It did actually happen. It isn't just some weird clickbait or a bizarre practical joke on the historians of the future. It was, and still is, a real and scary thing. So expect some graphic photos / drawings / paintings on the Sistine Chapel, because, you know, zombies. But first, I think we need a little context. For those living in either North Korea or under a rock, zombies are ex-humans that are infected and wish to infect others. However, this infection can't bring them back to life, and they proceed to rot whilst mobile and semi-conscious. Which is horrific, yeah. The whole zombie craze in the media stems from mainly folklore and also a bit of history, nudge nudge, but it only really has come to mainstream attention in the last 30 years or so. The main turning point by many is considered the 1978 film Dawn of the Dead, but in any case, zombies as a whole in today's media is inescapable. Many even make plans for a real zombie outbreak, in the event fiction does become fact. But what they don't know is that one's already happened. What? I hear you exclaim from 4,000 miles away. But bear with me. To prove my point, let's go back over 500 years and to the height of the Renaissance, which was why I made that Sistine Chapel joke earlier. It is the year 1495 CE, 3 years after Columbus' infamous voyage to the New World, which is a mysterious land filled with different animals, plants, and viruses, unknown, never seen before by Europeans. Historians speculate this is how the virus spread across to the Old World, and ultimately where it came from, because it was an entirely new ecosystem. It was soon transmitted to the coastal city of Naples, which is the one next to Mount Vesuvius, you can see it circled, where it proceeded to spread. After infection, there were no symptoms within the first 5 to 50 days, allowing the victims to unwittingly spread the virus to others without knowing it. Next, skin would start to get itchy, and then soon after, swelling would occur. These swollen pustules would continue to grow over the course of months, so huge that their faces became disfigured. Like this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Most likely that, but some of you are probably thinking that that looks more like the Elephant Man than World War Z, or World War Z, however you know it. But then the next stage of the virus develops, where the victim's flesh would just fall from the body, exposing the skeleton beneath. Yeah, nice. Commonly, the areas most affected, including the legs, armpits, and worst of all, the face, where the whole thing fell apart and the nose often collapsed, leading to some of the oldest prosthetic noses in history. To worsen the pain and nightmare fuel, these victims also lived for months in this state. Not hours, not even days, months. They really were the walking dead. This virus was spread somewhat by human migration, but back then, travel wasn't really a big thing. However, that all changed in August of 1494, when Charles VIII of France decided to try and invade the somewhat infected city of Naples. They succeeded in trying to occupy the port city, and the soldiers decided to celebrate with the locals. Soon after, they noticed symptoms of infection amongst their ranks. Yeah, this does sound like the start of a horror movie, doesn't it? I'll be calling Hollywood after the video, but back to the script. The infected army was soon crippled by the symptoms we've discussed, quite literally in this case, and the army was subsequently disbanded. The soldiers soon fled back to their own homelands in France, taking the disease with them. Brilliant disease control you've got there. By the middle of 1495, this mysterious disease had conquered the majority of Europe, at which point the Holy Roman Empire, Maximilian I, blames heretics and non-believers for the plague. Probably a good thing that he doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, this mysterious disease doesn't stop in Europe. By the turn of the century, 1500, it had spread to Europe, Russia, and the Middle East. Within 20 years of that, it had even reached the Far East, with China and Japan, and Africa. That's all very well and good, but you want to know what happens next. Where did the disease go? We don't have actual zombies running around in cities today, so it has to have gone somewhere. Right? Right? Well, here's the thing. It never really went away. The whole face rotting and disfiguring disease is still very much a thing today. You may even know its modern name, syphilis. Yes, that modern and catchable disease caused all that 500 years ago. Experts think it's because it was a new disease. It was brand new. It got to such a stage because nobody had any resistance to it, or even knew what it was. Syphilis is an STD, which stands for sexually transmitted disease, which is in turn why the word celebrate in my script is in quotation marks. The soldiers decided to celebrate with the locals. Yeah, you can probably guess what I meant by that. Now though, in the 21st century, this disease doesn't pose as much as a face-melty threat. To progress to the tertiary flesh-disintegrating stage, you'd have to do years of ignoring agonizing pain and mysterious swellings, which I don't think anyone would do today. We have science and doctors and even a cure for all stages of syphilis, which was developed in the first half of the 20th century, 400 plus years after the Old World outbreak. So, don't panic. Well, unless you live in the Middle Ages, in which case, be selective with who you celebrate with. I've been Zepherus, and thanks for watching.